How are we doing tonight? Well, we're going to wait, give it a couple minutes for some other people to get on here. I don't know about any of you out there, but I've been getting pretty perturbed with the way things are going with Flint. We got our politicians who are seeming to forget about the issues that they helped cause in Flint, and it's pretty much pissing me off. It should be pissing the people of Michigan off in general, but we'll give it a couple minutes here and see if we can get some more people on here, and then we'll go from there. All right, we got issues going on with Flint here that seems to be, our politicians in Michigan seem to be letting everything slip on by for what's going on in Flint. Where I've been getting pissed off with the state and the way they're handling Flint is really ticking me off. I mean, granted, they didn't cause this issue purposefully, but the people of Flint are suffering over this. They've been drinking bottled water since April of 2014, and they've been dragging their feet left and right. You know, if I was the mayor of Flint, Michigan right now, I'd be handing out shovels and putting people to work and worrying about the money later. You know, this is getting to be a bunch of BS. You've got Washington over there that they've approved $170 million for Flint, which is probably going to be really appreciated. But here's the problem. They're not going to get none of this money until after the elections, and more than likely not until the first of the year. You've got our idiots in Lansing that have put Flint on the back burner so that the politicians can go out and campaign. Here's what I recommend for the people of Michigan. This is just my opinion. You can take it or leave it. If it was up to me, I'd be telling everybody out there, do not vote for our incumbents. They need to be thrown out of office. They've gotten carried away. They are not out there to help Flint. They are ignoring Flint altogether. In the past 9 or 10 months, the number that I have here is that they've only replaced 114 lines out there in Flint. Okay? Now, this is in 9 or 10 months. You know, it's bad enough that because of their stupidity and their actions of not paying attention to what's going on in Flint, the rest of us people in Michigan, the citizens of Michigan, whatever you want to call us, the constituents, I'm tired, excuse me. Anyways, the people of Michigan, we're going to be paying for Flint for the actions of our politicians for the next 2 to 3 decades, if not more. We don't know what kind of damage this is going to do to the youth in Flint. We've got lead lines, thousands of them, that need to be replaced. They need to be just yanked out of the ground. I mean, they tried to recoat the pipes, which is a waste of time and money. My message to Karen Weaver, the mayor of Flint, is get your people to work, quit bickering over trash pickup, and get these lines out of the ground. You know, you already know you got 170 million coming from the federal government to get this stuff. You need to get these lines out of the ground, and then we, as the people of Michigan and our so-called politicians, we need to start setting up for infrastructure replacement and repair for the state. They don't want to do any of this. They keep complaining that they don't have the money. Well, stop wasting the money on ice cream week in Lansing over there. Stop worrying about campaigning and just get the damn job done. You know, this is getting carried away. I mean, you've got Washington over there. They provided, now don't get me wrong, Zika's something that needs to be taken care of. But Washington gave 1.1 billion for Zika. Okay, they've been given 500 million for the floods that occurred just last month. That's all good things. Okay, Flint, Michigan is a major thing. It's nationwide. It's worldwide. People over in Europe already know about Flint, Michigan. You know, this is getting completely carried away. Nobody seems to care what's going on in Flint. You know, and if they do care, they're not showing it. Yeah, we still got water donations going over there, and I'm trying to work on getting some water together from. I'm going to some Kroger stores. I have a tractor trailer ready to use. All I got to do is get the water. So if anybody wants to help the people of Flint, I'm all for it. I'll take the water up there personally, and we will hand out the water to the people of Flint. I'm also trying to get some donations for milk. I'm not talking about donations money-wise. I'm going to Dairy Fresh and I'm going to Country Fresh, and I'm trying to get them to donate some pallets of milk that we can take up to Flint for the kids. We're working on doing a lot of things. I'm working with Delta faucets. We're going to see if we can get some faucets. We're trying to get 50,000 bathroom faucets and 25,000 of the kitchen sink faucets. I'm working on doing all this and getting this stuff taken up to Flint. I'm not promising anything, but I am working on it and trying to get it done. We need to get as many plumbers as we can to volunteer time. We need to replace these faucets in these homes, schools. We need to get all this stuff upgraded. I know it's going to be a huge expense of time and manpower, but we need to try to figure out a way to get this done. There's just nothing else we can do. The lines have to come out. There's no temporary fix. Yeah, they're saying the water's safe to drink with filters. That's no way to live. If it was up to me, I wouldn't even drink it with filters, for the simple fact I've lost faith in our state government. The politicians have lied to us so much, it's time to get them out of office and get some real people in there with common sense. That's why I'm running for governor for the state of Michigan, because we need common sense, we need real change, and we need somebody who's going to stick to their words. That is me. I will always carry through with what I promise. Like I said, I'm working on trying to get some other things for the people of Flint. I will be going up to Flint here in the near future. I'm going to be going out there and talking to the people, and I'm going to start gathering signatures up there in Flint. We are trying to put together an army of volunteers. I'd like to get 500 volunteers to canvass Flint, Detroit, Saginaw, and middle of Michigan. So if anybody can volunteer, we'll work with you. Doesn't matter what day you have. If you have a day, we'll find a spot for you to volunteer. So I was just reading a message on here, and Chuck, you're right. The corruption is thick in Lansing and as well as Washington. But the only way we can change that is by getting some people, normal people in there with common sense, and that's the only way we're going to change it. All right. I'm reading something here. I put down some notes here about the federal government and our cronies in Lansing here, the idiots that we have elected. And I say we did elect them, so what we got is what we deserve for our electing. Of course, they've lied to us, and that's how they get into office. So, all right. If any of you have, like I said, if any of you have any ins to help get donations for Flint, again, we are looking for, I have a tractor trailer accessible to me. We are trying to get a trailer full of water, and I'd love to get a half a trailer full of milk. So if you have any ins to any of these companies that you think that you might be able to talk to and ask them for donations, please go to my website, schleigerforgovernor2018.com, and contact me, or put them in contact with me so that I can talk to them and see what we can get them to donate. Again, We're trying to get 50,000 bathroom faucets and 25,000 kitchen faucets of the plastic kind that have no lead whatsoever in them, so that we can get these installed into Flint. Some of these homes, you've got a lot of people that don't even have a way to pick up water and some of these necessities. So we're going to see if we can target those people and get some of this water out to their homes. So that's where we're at right now, and I have been talking. I've been talking to Kroger's. Some of the Kroger's, I've got them on board to donate a pallet of water here and a pallet there, or half pallet there. So I am building this load to go to Flint. It's not going as fast as I'd like it to, but we are going to do it. So I'm going to need volunteers when we get ready to do that, also to help pass out water. So if you're available, I'll put it out on Facebook when we're going to do it and schedule it. It won't be like the very next day. I'll give you a week's notice so that we can get this taken care of and help these people in Flint. Plus, I want to go up there and talk some more to the people of Flint and find out what they feel needs to be done. I'm sure it's pretty much the same as most of us think. These lead lines need to come out. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not just Flint that has these lead lines. We've got thousands of them in the city of Detroit, Saginaw, Ann Arbor, Grand Rapids, the cities up north like Traverse City. As far as I know, all these major cities and some of the smaller cities, they all have lead lines in them. They all need to come out of the ground. If they're not leaching lead, they can be put on the back burner, but eventually they need to come out. So we are putting together an infrastructure bill that I would like to bring out here in the next couple of weeks. Now my campaign basis is lowering taxes and making the taxes on a fair base. That'll stay the same. But there's got to be something we can do to rebuild our infrastructure completely in Michigan. I don't expect this to happen all overnight. I don't expect it to happen in the 4 years as me being governor. But I do expect it to get done, and we will put something in place when I am elected governor to make sure this happens. This is something that has to be done. We need to replace our water lines. We need to replace our sewers. We need to, I shouldn't say replace, I should say update. There's all this infrastructure repair is going to fuel the economy for the state of Michigan. It's going to create hundreds of thousands of jobs. I'm betting on at least 250,000 jobs just on infrastructure updates and maintenance. We've gotten behind. We need to get this stuff taken care of, or we're going to have more incidences just like what's going on in Flint. It may not be with the drinking water. It may be overflow of sewage. This stuff has to be taken care of, and we need to get people in there that are going to do their jobs. We need to stay in touch with the people of Michigan, and we need to make sure that they're being taken care of the way they should be taken care of, not forgotten because of their skin color or their religion. I don't know. I don't want to even guess on what the reasoning is, why this happened in Flint. It's all over money anyways. And it needs to stop. We need to get this stuff taken care of, get the middle class rebuilt, make it easier for people to survive. It is blown way out of proportion, and it needs to be put to a halt. Now, I'm not one of the greatest orators or communicators of the people, but I do say what's on my mind. Sometimes I don't think about how it comes out, but it's still coming out, and I am not going to tolerate this as your governor. We will not allow this to happen again. This stuff has to be taken care of. Rick Schneider, and you've got Bill well, let me do this. Let me say this first. You've got Brian Calley and Bill Schuette running around Flint. I've said this many times. They're out there playing the White Knights. The people of Flint are pissed at these two especially. They're going around telling them how they're going to get the situation fixed, but then they turn around and they put it right out there that they're going to put it on the back burners until after the elections. You don't stop in the middle of these repairs. These have to be taken care of. And as far as Bill Schuette's concerned, I think he's a turd that needs to be flushed. I could care less about him trying to run for governor. He's a worthless turd, and he needs to be flushed. Let him go down the drain over there in Flint. I mean, they're doing nothing but wasting the taxpayers' dollars. Brian Calley, he's over there patting everybody on the back and boo-hooing and everything like this, but he's not trying to get anything taken care of. These are our Republicans that are in office. And like I said, if it was up to me, I'd be out here telling everyone. Matter of fact, I will. Every one of you that are out there listening to this broadcast tonight, do not vote for our incumbents. Get them out of office and get people in there. You all need, hell, if Mike, you, Eric, you can't because you're living out in Hawaii, but get out there, run for office. We need regular people in there who have some common sense left in their head to run for office and get the stuff done that the people need done. We don't need politicians out there who are just care about their lobbyist buddies and people who help them with huge donations to get them in office. This is where the corruption's coming in. They don't really care about the people of Michigan. They go out there and tell us what they're doing, that they do, but then when they come up there and they're lobbyist buddies for big oil, like a Bill Schuette, he's got the big oil companies in his back pocket, big energy, whatever you want to call them. You know, they're paying a lot for his campaign, which is fine. I care less. But the whole problem is he's doing everything they want him to do. And they could care less about us, the little people. So it's time to stop that. Like I said, we are trying to put together an army of volunteers. We need 500 people by the beginning of next year. I've got a list of volunteers started. It's growing every week, and we're going to make this happen. This stuff has to stop. We need to send a message to Lansing. At the same time we send this message to Lansing, Washington will receive the same message. This crap has to stop. People's lives are at stake here in Flint, and we need to get them taken care of. We need to get our state back on track. We need to get our roads fixed. We need to get our schools properly funded. Bill Schuette just gave the okay to close a bunch of schools down here in Detroit area. Instead of trying to make things work and get the problem figured out, their solution is to close schools. That's gonna, when you close those schools, the kids have to go someplace. So they go to the next couple of schools out in the area, and now we got overcrowding. You know, we've got some classes I've heard of have 50 students in them. That is ridiculous. How do you expect a teacher to teach 50 kids? You know, each child has a different situation. They have different learning attitudes. I should say aptitudes, not attitudes. They have attitudes, but those are kids. Come on. We all had our attitudes growing up, but aptitudes. And these teachers are being hampered for their creativity because they have too many kids in their classroom. This is all part, in my mind, of our infrastructure. Our kids are our future. If we don't start teaching them properly and giving them the time that they need and the tools, we're setting them up for failure. This all has to stop, and we need to all get together, help volunteer to get this stuff done. At the same time, I'm still going to ask you for donations for my campaign. Because if we don't get somebody in to that office in Lansing that's actually here for the people of Michigan, we're losing. Now, as a campaign right now, I'm not losing. But there isn't that many of them out here campaigning with me. But I am getting the message out, and I will not quit until I get into that office. We need somebody in there who's going to stick to their words and get the job done. That is me. Until if there's a better candidate out there, I'll gladly jump in there and agree with you. I mean, when you have these huge classrooms like this, the teachers are stressing, the students are stressing. You know, we need to get our schools back up to code, not just the building, but our classes. We need to shrink. We need to open these schools that are closed. Instead of rebuilding them, we need to refurbish these schools, bring them up to code, and get teachers into those classrooms to where we can have a manageable class. We have actual states in the nation that only allow a maximum of 28 students. And it's a law there. Why can't we do something like that with Michigan? We can increase our teachers' wages, we get rid of Common Core, switch to the STEM program so that we can bring our kids up to the standards of what's going on with technology today. We need science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. If we gear our schools towards that and shrink our classrooms so that the students are manageable with the teachers, we can set ourselves up for success. The only way to do this is to put the effort forward. I'm willing to put that effort forward. If you're willing to stand behind me and help me get this campaign really rolling after this national election, hell, even no matter which one of those two win, you're going to need a strong governor here in Michigan. So we need to get our schools up to par. We need to get our infrastructure replaced where it needs to be replaced and updated for the rest. If people really want change in Michigan, you have to step up and help with this. Not one person can do it all by themselves. And like I said, I'm working. I've been talking to Absolpure for the water for Flint. I've been talking to Ice Mountain for the water for Flint, Country Fresh for the milk, Dairy Fresh for the milk. Wherever I can get in and make a phone call, I've been doing. We are trying to get water and milk to go to Flint. Like I said, I have access to a truck and trailer. I can load this truck up on Thursdays and deliver it on the following Sunday. But I will give the people, I'll give you all a week's notice if you want to help hand out water in Flint and milk for the kids in Flint. I'll gladly give you the directions where we're going to be at, and we're going to dispatch from there. But I'm not making this very long tonight. I've been actually reading some of your comments on here, and pretty much I've touched on all of them except for we got somebody here. Oh, here's a good one. Pork bills need to go away. No big donor and lobbyist bills, just money funded to the root of the problem, not backdoor deals. That's part of the corruption in Lansing there and Washington, but hey, I agree with this. What we need to do, and this is part of the reason some of the state reps and senators don't like what I have to say, because I'm going to make them work the whole year instead of just 100 days a year. Yes, and I did catch that, Chris. It was the principals who stole from the school funds, not the teachers. But yeah, you're right. That stuff will all stop with the accountability that we've been talking about. My campaign, again, is based on accountability, equality, and integrity. And we will hold the people accountable. Not the people, the elected officials and the administrative boards for these schools. The idea is, like I said before, is to get the accountability into the system. We need to get common people out there running for office, not these politicians. They are stuck in their ways. They do not want to change. Because they're getting so much money. They are lining their pockets. They're not caring about their constituents. They're not caring as much as they'd like to say about our cities and our urban areas. We need to get our infrastructure going, and like I said, I'm working on a bill for that. I want to run this by an economist to make sure that it is functionable before I bring it out to the public. And it wouldn't surprise me to have some of our politicians watching my live feeds, because we are starting to see some of my ideas coming out there. I mean, just recently, in the last 6 months, we had Uncle Ricky there in Lance. Oh, excuse me, I can't call him Uncle Ricky no more. Governor Schneider there in Lansing has increased the school funding bill. I mean, from 13.4 to 15.2 billion. Good job, Rick Schneider, but it's not enough. There's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be taken care of. And I get into office, I guarantee you on day one there will be massive amounts of changes. I have other things in the pipe here for bringing money to Michigan. Now they're talking about, I guess, MI legalized, this group that's trying to get marijuana legalized. They didn't make it on the ballot. So here's the other option. They're going to run another signature campaign for 2018. You got other people in Michigan talking about legalizing marijuana now. I don't have a problem with that for the simple fact Colorado has been making close to $5 million a month in taxes on legalization. The only problem I do have is they have to make sure that Colorado's having this issue too. They're making candies and stuff that are identical to candies that aren't marijuana, but some are. They're identical. If they're going to do stuff like that, they have to make it discernible from the regular candies and cupcakes and whatever they're going to use it for. There has to be some way to make it so that it's not appetizing to our children. I don't want kids getting hungry or wanting the sweets and then all of a sudden, they grab the wrong one. I mean, some of that would have to be blamed on the parents or whoever's using the medicinal marijuana or for pleasure. Doesn't matter. Either way, it's something that has to be discussed. I haven't talked to a lot of people about it, but I'm not against legalization of marijuana as long as it's regulated like our alcohol is here in the state. I feel it should be legalized for anyone over the age of 21, nobody under, but it will be a heck of a tax base for the state as well. Like I said, Colorado's been bringing between 5 and 7 million a month in just on taxes from the legalization of marijuana. Now, Colorado only has, I think it's roughly 5.5 million people in the state. Michigan, our population is almost double that. We are 9.91. So if they're bringing in 5.7, you can just about guarantee it'll be 10 to 12 million here in Michigan. That's part of the reason why I think it should be legalized. Not only that, if you take it out of the hands of the so-called black market or making it legal, you don't have the issues. I believe it would curb some of the illegal activities. So, and Chuck, you're right. All talk and no action career politicians, that's what we have no matter how you look at it. We need to get rid of them. That's why I said do not vote for incumbents this year. I don't care if you have to go in there and start voting for Green Party, Libertarians, independents of any kind. We need to get change, and the only way to do it is get our corrupted politicians out of there. And I'll tell you right now, Brian, we have 110 state reps, and I've said it before, we have 110 state reps, 38 senators, attorney general, lieutenant governor, and governor. Plus you have 2 senators, U.S. senators, and 14 Congress people. It took them over a year to even acknowledge Flint. This is why I have such not hatred, but disgust with our politicians. Governor Schneider, you're the governor of a state. You have to know what's going on in your state. I don't care how big or small the state is. There's no excuse for what's going on in Flint right now. And there's no excuse for these people still to be drinking bottled water. But I've done rambled on long enough, so I'm going to get off here. Y'all enjoy your evening. And don't forget, go to Schleiger for Governor 2018.com. sign up to volunteer. There's a contact page. You can either volunteer your services. Just give me a day that you are available, and we will utilize you. And when we get ready to take our semi-truckload of water and milk up to Flint, I will give you a week's notice so that if any of you can volunteer to help hand out the water and the milk to the families of Flint, I would appreciate that. So again, go to SchleigerForGovernor2018.com, click on the contact page, or you can go to donate. I appreciate all the donations that I've been getting. We need a lot more. We're asking for $3, $4, $5 on a reoccurring monthly basis. But if you can't donate, go to the contact page and volunteer. That contact page goes right there to me. If I get a contact for a volunteer, we add it to our volunteer list. We need all your help and support that we can get. Flint needs all your help and support we can get for them. So with all that said and done, I want you all to have a blessed night, and thank you for listening to my rant. You have a good evening, and blessings.